Hey, what's up, y'all? It's popping in. Steve Boss reacts to this vid by Neopunk FM. This is titled "Something is Happening at Playboi Carti Concerts." This thumbnail is wild. I don't know what's going on, but it looks crazy. I'll never forget his performance at Rolling Loud in New York, 2021. Was that 2021? Yes, 2021. Look that up. When he stepped out on that stage in the rain, that was a wild experience, okay? That kind of made me like him a little bit. I mean, I still don't listen to his music like that. I do listen to a couple songs, though, but it was just a very gripping performance. So maybe he has some type of mind control going on. Something is off, you know? I fucked with it. It was a great performance. But something ain't right. Something rubs me the wrong way about this man. Anyway, let's see what's going on, though. Let's watch.
Wake up, filthy.
Hey, that's what he came out
If you go to a Playboi Carti concert, you feel a radically different vibe than any other rap show you've ever been to. As soon as the beat drops, the entire audience enters an animalistic, high-energy state.
This is what the fuck I'm talking about. Now, I didn't witness that, honestly. Well, I wasn't really paying attention anyway, but I didn't witness the demonic presence that I'm seeing here in these short few seconds, but I'm not surprised. I'm just not surprised.
And that's when the violence starts.
Look.
This is what moshing at a Carti concert is like, more commonly called raging in our culture today. In the time that Carti's been touring, raging has spread infectiously into other rap shows. But how did we get here?
Moshing itself is nothing new. Its humble beginnings as a niche form of crowd expression can be traced back to the 1970s and to the 1980s. Punk bands such as Minor Threat, Bad Brains, Black Flag, and The Germs can be looked towards as really popularizing it within the hardcore punk scene. This already gives us a connection to Carti, as he said that these bands have influence.
Sorry, I can't even focus on what the fuck he talking about. Is this nigga just sitting still, or is this a freeze frame? What the fuck is going on with this autistic virgin? It's making me uncomfortable. I don't like it.
Alongside his Anarchy tattoo and the Bad Religion tattoo, another punk band, he's also been seen sporting vintage Black Flag merch and references the Germs in his own merchandise.
Through the 90s, new bands took inspiration from these older hardcore bands, and the sound evolved into grunge. Grunge exploded in popularity in the 90s, with the most well-known example being the Naked Baby band. And as grunge became popularized, moshing followed alongside.
And now you're doing the same
Imagine
shit, you know what?
Grunge bands like Nirvana, Alice in Chains, or Soundgarden selling out huge venues with large groups of people forming chaotic mosh pits. But it doesn't stop there. The thing to really kick moshing into popularity with all different kinds of genres was the introduction of multi-genre festivals such as Lollapalooza and Coachella. These festivals allowed people from different types of audiences to come together and share the moshing experience. What was once something that happened only at a much smaller hardcore show type venue now became a worldwide phenomenon with normies.
I can remember at Lollapalooza, I saw like maybe the most wicked pit of my life.
Fast forward to 2016. The influence of hardcore and punk were commonplace in the underground rap scene, between fashion and sound, and had given us artists like XXXTentacion, Travis Scott, and A$AP Rocky, all bringing their own version of the darker and more alternative style of rapper to the table.
Carti, however, stood out among his peers due to the consistent delivery of punk energy throughout the entirety of his image and sound. Looking at his clothes, album covers, his hard-hitting production, and even just his live shows, it was clear that Carti was more than just inspired by punk. He wanted to be punk.
The following piece of footage is an excellent example of this. While not as punk as Gigi Allen, of course, Carti's making an homage to his influences in a sense. Fun fact, this piece of Carti history took place right here at the Tabernacle, right in Atlanta. Looking at Carti's most recent album, Whole Lotta Red, we can see that this style he's been curating has only become more refined. While past Carti tours hadn't looked too different from other rap shows at the time, Carti took advantage of his new artistic power and presented fans with a dark and menacing concert experience to match the new vampire persona he'd taken on. These concerts were blacked out, smoke-filled, and focused on the chaos.
This is New York, I'm pretty sure.
Extended guitar intros for all of the tracks on the album, as well as the presence of people on stage like Burberry Airy, to make it clear that he was the new generation of punk. Or in his words,
fashion-wise, Carti's style had leveled up beyond just the punk influences, mixing in elements of metal, goth, and glam rock. Influence from both Matthew Williams of Givenchy and Rick Owens, two acclaimed designers in the fashion world, had also contributed to Carti's iconic look. The change in his look had signified a distinct metamorphosis from underground rapper to rock star punk sensation. The audiences loved it. Through his art, Carti was helping to open up the youth to a new and more brutal expression of energy.
I'll talk about that.
So where does Carti go with this new creation of his?
Through a wombo combination of Carti's King Vamp tour, the seemingly never-ending leaks of his music, his features on Ye's Donda 1 and 2, and the artists he's brought into the spotlight through his own label, Opium, the rage sound that Carti's helped contribute to, which was once so controversial to critics and fans alike, is now more popular than it's ever been. From the perspective of where we are in the music scene in Atlanta, this is especially true for moshing.
The term opium has now become a full-fledged genre of style, with kids rushing out to wear the same Rick Owens Ramones, Balenciaga Raver pants, and upside-down crosses, all purchased with their parents' credit card. Now, some of you might say, well, raging isn't the same thing as moshing or what any of the old-school punk guys were doing, and Carti's not punk. And even if these things are true, what's interesting about the rage phenomena is that at the very least, it's opening kids up to the idea that they don't have to be stuck in just one type of aesthetic or sound. I mean, he has kids that have only been listening to rap their entire lives, going to his shows wearing Norwegian black metal corpse paint.
It seems that the culture is now moving into its heavier phase of 2000s nostalgia, with the sound and style of things like nu metal, like Deftones, and the fashion of that time, which we now see as Y2K, absolutely exploding in all platforms, like TikTok, where so many songs from the 2000s are becoming trending sounds, or apps like Depop or Grailed having Y2K as their top search. Between everybody's clothes being 3 times oversized, or rock guitars really beginning to take over trap beats, we've yet to see anybody take this to its absolute peak. And as for the future of moshing, who's to say we won't see slam dancing becoming mainstream, or hardcore style moshing with roundhouse kicks and pits that stay open? Maybe these things will continue to cross genres, even more now that seemingly every artist has a sound that's some sort of mix of genres. And does it even matter? Seeing that there's a community for every kind of style now, you're bound to find your people no matter what you're into.
One can only imagine the implications this has for people who want to gatekeep their part of moshing culture. Some may argue that raging will make these lesser celebrated aspects of moshing more diluted and commercial. Others might see it as their niche finally getting the recognition it deserves.
At the end of the day, these things are certain. People want to rock, and people want to rage.
They just want to rock. All this is enough for me, though, honestly. I mean, I do like a couple of his songs, but this whole mosh pit lifestyle and you doing all this extra shit when your nose is bleeding, that's too much. You don't have to do all of that. And be careful doing this shit at these shows because you might bump into the wrong one. Because Rolling Loud, the one that Carti was at, that I went to, that's where my family started fighting. I was already gone at this point, but niggas is bumping into them, and they start throwing hands, okay? And it turned into this big-ass brawl, and they had to get up out of there before they got arrested. It was a lot going on. So, you thinking that you could just do all this mosh pit shit and bump into everybody, not everybody is here for that. You feel me? And you might get dropped, because that's what happened with my family. They went viral on TikTok and everything. It was wild. It was wild. Anyway, yeah, I will see, you know, what his album sounds like when it drops. I'm actually going to listen to it, give it an honest listen. I'll listen to it on my Patreon whenever it drops. Anyway, interesting vid though. Y'all let me know what y'all thought. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.